When I go through the full curriculum over 6 weeks with people, I send them this very detailed PDF that has like 30 slides, and we talk about like, so this is just an example. We do the game as a way to study ownership of experience. Ownership of experience is a teaching that comes from nonviolent communication, but I've added a lot into it. Where's the slide I'm looking for? This one. Oh no, this is the conflict transformation teachings. So we go through all of the basic teachings of authentic relating week by week. And in the last two classes, we start to study conflict transformation, which I call emotional alchemy. And it's similar to this today, where it's a lot of experiential learning. If I'm teaching, it's usually for less than 5 minutes. If we're discussing, we might be discussing for 20 minutes, but it really is a lot of exercises, groups of 2s and 3s. We're going to try a new structure with a particular course where we're going to do home groups. This is a course that I've taught all over the world. I've taught it on Zoom many times. It's just rich on Zoom for people to really get into one another's lives, connect this material, and let's see. What else do I want to share about this? Oh, so we're going to see all of the different tools. In my book, there's 30 tools, but we also really contextualize it. There's something about learning this material together with people who you can do the exercises with, where it goes so much deeper into you. And then the book can just be a refresher, and there's even exercises in the book that you can bring to people. And why would you want to do this? Well, I've had very experienced people who, were in nonviolent communication for like 15 years, take the course and love it. So it's not just people. It's usually a mix of people in terms of their level of experience. But why would you want to do it? If we can get better at handling conflict and tension in our relationship, we become someone who is a shared reality expert, someone who can bring this into their, with this particular community, into their housing situation, their roommates, with the people that they're co-creating projects with. And the more of those people in the world, the better. People who are shared reality experts. So that's my heart around it. That's why I'm doing this, is to train people and really have a world that works for everyone, with a lot of people who have received these kinds of trainings and these kinds of skills. So. And it's 6 weeks, 2 hours a week. I think, Marco, your course is similar in structure, 2 hours a week. So I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. So I'm reflecting it's difficult in a webinar this size to really give you an experience of AR, because AR normally happens in small groups and one-on-one. But I find myself quite pleased that, Jason, the noticing game is really one of the most powerful games that we play. It is also the basis of the circling practice, which I deeply love and has fundamentally changed my life. So let me give just a quick plug for Jason and the ARC course, and then talk about what Sophie and I are doing in the PRLC course. So we ran a ARC course, our cohort, last June. Also Jen sponsored. We love Jen. We had maybe 15 or 16 people in the course, and it was really very beautiful. We dropped in very deep. I was really kind of shocked, frankly, at how well that course went. And we enjoyed it so much, we actually formed a peer-led group out of that course. And as far as I know, that group is still running. And for me, this is a real test of a successful course, when people enjoy it so much that they want to continue and they self-organize around that. Now, authentic relating is what we call in integral psychology a transcend and include of NVC. So it includes NVC, but it's more. Unlike NVC, it's peer-created and peer-led, which makes it unique among modern transformational modalities. which is really why it's become so popular. Just so you understand that AR is a unique emergence in human history from my perspective. It's a global human transformation movement that's, grassroots based. Now, about the PRLC, so I just want to say that Sophie and I actually got married 3 weeks ago. She lives in Germany, I live in the US until now. And today is a big day for me because we just learned 2 hours ago that my German residence visa was approved. So yay for that. I thought that this might negatively impact the quality of my attention and my presence, but appears not so much, so that's great. But anyway, continuing with the PRLC, these groups came out of my 8 years of experience in AR, primarily running private groups. Now, a private group is a group of people who commit to coming together and practicing, usually weekly, but could be every few weeks as well. And I've been doing this for, maybe 7 years. And most of the groups are really phenomenal. What we do is circling, which is the original authentic relating practice. So for instance, I started running groups for my friends about 7 years ago. I have a men's group now that has been meeting weekly for 5 years. And 2 years ago, I started leading professionally, primarily to people who were interested in intentional community. And I ran 3 different groups in Mexico when I was there, early this year on the ground, early last year. Now, circling can happen online and it can happen on the ground, and the Mexico groups were really great. So that was a big win for me to start to lead groups on the ground. Prior to that, I was only leading online. And then we got with Jen, and I started leading online with Sophie. I met Sophie earlier last year, and we ran 2 different cohorts for Jen. The last one was so powerful that we moved that into a peer-led group, which continues to meet and has been very meaningful to both of us, Sophie and I. So that's what happens. When a group goes well, it's kind of unbelievable. And the PRLC is specifically a training program for running private groups, if that's of interest. The ARC is a wider scope program where you go through the basics more systematically. And now the ARC can potentially teach you how to lead AR games. You can just repeat the exercises that you will learn in the ARC with your community and or your friends. And my take on this is that to learn AR, you have to lead it. And you have to accept that sometimes you will make mistakes. I like to say that AR is about making mistakes. And you have to treat these mistakes with humility and apologize. And if you do that, you will grow as an AR leader. And in fact, there actually is no other way to grow as an AR leader than to try things out and make mistakes. So I sometimes say that unless you're leading, you're not really learning. And to lead, quote unquote, doesn't necessarily mean starting groups. It could be, as someone on the call pointed out, as simple as reaching out to your neighbor and having a connected conversation. Authentic relating is a way of being that is universally attractive. Of course, you never know how other people are going to respond, but typically, if you give them your best, you demonstrate listening, and you demonstrate care, and show up with curiosity, 90% of people will respond very positively 90% of the time. I'll stop there and ask Sophie if she wants to say a few words.
I actually love to have a few breaths of silence. I think that was a lot. Thank you. What can I add to that? I think I feel privileged that we are mentored by Jason for the ARC program, so we will participate in that as well. And I like the PRLC groups, that it's small groups of maximum 8 people, and that creates quite an intensive and intimate space. And I really like that. I really like the practice of circling as well. And I notice I'm a little excited now because I'm sort of on the spot, and I actually don't have anything, I think, to add value. I'm grateful, and yeah, you can do both, by the way, because they are one after the other.
Mhm.
Yeah, hope to see some of you. Have a lovely evening, afternoon, day, wherever you are.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Okay, Jason, any final words?
Yeah. So the ARC will start this week, next Tuesday, at the same time as this webinar started. And, with the spring in courses, we have to always contend a little bit with daylight savings time because Europe, on a couple of weeks differently than the US, but so we'll get clear on that scheduling if you choose to join. But then the PRLC starts 2 or 3 hours after.
Like half hour after, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Half hour after the ARC ends, the PRLC starts. So there's enough time to get lunch wherever you are in the world. And then if someone wants both, which thanks for saying that, Sophie. And the last thing is, I've been working on this super secret project called the Integral Circling School, bringing back some of the integral circling teachings that happen in Boulder, Colorado, which are more explicitly based on Ken Wilber's work in integral theory. And I haven't launched that yet, so I don't have a web to show you, although I did buy an URL. But that's going to open in a month. And that's a little different style. It's not a course. It's a platform where there'll be a monthly charge and going classes. So if that's of interest to you, we're going to send out an email probably in 2 weeks about that to the interest list. So yeah, just give heads up around that. Those classes start in 4 weeks, so March 4th.